Okay, just imagine this for a second. You're floating 250 miles above the Earth. You packed for a 10-day trip, but now you're being told you might be stuck up there for 9 months. And no, that's not the plot of a sci-fi movie, it was the reality for astronaut Sunita Williams. What we're going to explore is her story of incredible resilience and what it can teach us about a powerful way of thinking, the astronaut mindset.
Right there. That's the moment it all changed. Just let that sentence sink in. And that one simple, kind of chilling statement from Williams, a routine mission just completely flips on its head. Suddenly, it's a life-threatening crisis. The entire plan is out the window, and the only thing that's certain is, well, nothing.
And this is really the core question, isn't it? Her situation is about as extreme as it gets. But the feeling of being overwhelmed, that's something we can all relate to. Whether you're dealing with a huge problem at work, something at home, or, you're in a broken spacecraft orbiting the planet, how do you keep your head when the pressure is on? Sunita Williams' experience is basically a masterclass.
So where did it all go wrong? Well, pretty much right away. The mission was on this brand new Boeing Starliner spacecraft. It was its first ever crewed flight to the International Space Station, and almost immediately, it started to fail. And we're not talking about a small glitch here. This was critical.
Get this, 5, not 1 or 2, 5 of the thrusters they needed to steer the ship just stopped. And her reaction? No panic, no freaking out, just this incredibly calm, understated comment, "Oh, this is not so good." You got to understand, in the world of test pilots and astronauts, that's basically code for, we are in very, very serious trouble.
So how in the world did they deal with that? They used a core principle of the astronaut mindset. They compartmentalized. See, you can't solve a problem that big all at once. It'll crush you. So they focused only on the very next step. The only thing that mattered in that moment was docking safely with the station. That terrifying giant question of how are we getting home? They just put it in a box and decided that's a problem for another day. They survived the crisis by refusing to look at the whole scary picture all at once.
But that kind of ice-in-your-veins composure, it doesn't just happen. You're not born with it. It's something that is forged over years and years of the most intense training imaginable, all designed to prepare you for the absolute unthinkable. So how do they build that mental armor?
Now here's something you might not expect. You'd probably think someone who flies rockets for a living is absolutely fearless, right? But what's so amazing about Williams is how open she is about her own insecurities. She's admitted that she struggled with tests and academics and felt nervous her whole life. And that reveals the real secret. The goal isn't to get rid of fear. It's to learn how to push right on through it.
You know, when we think of astronaut training, our minds go to all the cool physical stuff. Spacewalks, flying jets, working giant robot arms. But that's only half the battle. The mental training is every bit as crucial. We're talking intense psychological screening and team exercises specifically designed to see how you react when everything goes wrong.
NASA even has this fantastic term for it, hotspots. Basically, these are your personal stress buttons, the things that make you, specifically, crack under pressure. And to find them, they send astronauts on these grueling outdoor trips. Think rafting, backpacking, and really uncomfortable conditions. The whole point is to see what makes you snap, so you can learn to manage your own weaknesses before you're sealed in a tiny metal can millions of miles from hell.
But look, all the training in the world is just preparation. Once you're actually up there in orbit, that's when the real test begins. The reality of daily life in space is strange and sometimes genuinely terrifying. It's definitely not all glorious spacewalks and stunning views. Just take this incident. It's the middle of the night. An alarm jolts them awake. A satellite below has just exploded, creating a cloud of shrapnel hurtling towards them at thousands of miles an hour. They have minutes to get to their escape pods. Williams described this surreal, heartbreaking moment of hugging her crewmates goodbye, each of them scrambling to a different ship with no idea if they'd ever see each other again, or if the station itself was about to be torn apart.
Beyond the immediate life or death dangers, there's just a profound isolation. Being so far from everyone and everything you love, which leads to a very simple, very human question that we probably don't think to ask astronauts. Do you cry in space?
And her answer is just perfect. So honest. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Of course she cried. She's a human being. She misses her family. She misses her friends. She even misses her dog. It's such a great reminder that becoming an astronaut doesn't mean you turn off your emotions. It just means you have to deal with them in a totally alien environment. And here's where it gets really weird. The physics of crying in space are completely different. Without gravity, your tears can't fall down your cheeks. They just form a wobbly liquid ball that sticks to your eye until you physically wipe it away. It's these small, bizarre details that really make you realize how strange it all is.
And speaking of bizarre details, let's talk about the one thing everybody wants to know about, but is maybe too polite to ask. The bathroom. I mean, what's the big deal? How hard could it possibly be? Well, turns out, pretty much everything. On Earth, gravity gives you a little assist. Up there, you have none. So you actually have to retrain your body and learn to use new muscles. In Williams' own words, you really have to commit to the process. It's a humbling, kind of funny reminder that even in the most technologically advanced habitat ever built, some of the most basic human things become huge challenges.
So, for all the dangers, all the challenges, and yes, all the zero-G toilets, the experience of being in space offers a reward that almost no one will ever know. It gives you a profound, life-altering change in perspective.
For Williams, a huge part of that perspective is shaped by tragedy. She lost her friend Kalpana Chawla in the Columbia disaster. Now, you might think something that devastating would deter you, but for her and her colleagues, it did the exact opposite. It strengthened their resolve. Exploration became a way to honor the memory of the friends they had lost.
And that resolve is rewarded with moments of just pure awe. She describes not just seeing the aurora borealis, but actually flying through it. Can you imagine being inside the northern lights? Seeing not just the green glow we see from the ground, but being surrounded by vibrant pinks and purples? It's a view of a natural wonder that is just completely unique. So when you put it all together, her months stranded in orbit, the years of training, a lifetime of pushing past her limits, what can we take away from it all? What is the ultimate lesson that she brought back home from the void?
Her final insight is maybe the most powerful of all. When she came back, it wasn't just technical debriefs she was met with. It was this huge outpouring of support and kindness from total strangers all over the world. And her biggest takeaway wasn't about rockets or science. It was about us. It was that at our core, people are good. That as human beings, we care for one another, even if that sometimes gets lost in all the noise down here.
And that brings us full circle, right back to that astronaut mindset. Sunita Williams faced an absolutely overwhelming crisis by breaking it down into small, manageable pieces. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the one big, overwhelming challenge in your life right now? And how can you start solving it, not all at once, but one small, single piece at a time?